And in we go. One and all, welcome back to Valdemar versus SortOf. An interesting G1 focused on booming, but G2 has the opportunity to be explosive here. Dry Arabia, we've got Byzantines for the kid going up against SortOf on El Clasico. It is going to be the French pick coming in. 2x speed just for the first 5 minutes so we can catch up and get into the action, because we know in the Dark Age, although there can be some shenanigans, it usually doesn't go too far, right? Right? That's a double forward gold. And SortOf might be in a tricky predicament here. He doesn't... Does he actually know? Like, in theory, he should have scouted this, but doesn't have an icon on the map yet. So an outpost here is a jackpot. Valdemar will look to set himself up nicely. And look at the timing. SortOf just about able to get what he needs gold-wise to go for a tech up. But now lacks the gold to do anything you normally like to do with French. No pro scouts, no night spam. This is a damn good start for the Byzantines. Yeah, not really a civ you often expect to outpost rush. The reason is the Limitane are quite expensive. 90 resources per spin is pretty rough. And also, you're sacrificing scaling economy, because by doing this type of play, you're not rushing out into the mining camp with stone and generating level 2, level 3, level 4 system. There is an argument to be had that as a result of that, you are kind of weakening your feudal age timings as well. Outpost up. We'll walk away. He's going to burn the mining camp. He's looking to get free information. So Valdemar will be able to tell a lot about SortOf's intent if he comes to repair. I think SortOf is just going to sack it. He doesn't have the wood to repair if he wanted to. This is going to get tower rush, not do the tower rush. Times are changing, boys. It's their turn. I mean, come on. When you get a spawn like this, it has to be your turn, right? It's kind of crazy. And now what we'll probably see from Valdemar, like he could actually pull back and deer shove with 2 spears, leave 1 inside with arrow slits. It's not a bad idea. Maybe he just feels like he has to commit to the defense, because usually the counterplay for French is to spam scouts and then burn the outpost. I feel like French is one of the worst civs at defending tower rushes, which is weird. They produce more villagers. Just stab them harder. Oh, there you go. There's that link. Exclamation mark AMD. Click it. Yeah, I always like to... I don't know. I like to be quite transparent in the way sponsors work where I can. Some things you can't with NDAs and whatnot, but like, reminder, with these type of integrations, guys, like when you just see the link, click it, because it's an awareness campaign. So it looks really good for the community to AMD when they see a lot of people checking out the brand. Also, like, you know, it's a KP recommendation, so you know it's good. Okay, so SortOf has gone triple archer here. Is he worried about the deer shove? Because he's going on the offensive right now. In some ways, it makes sense. Like, how are you going to contest your opponent on that gold? Instead, what he does is he goes full north and refuses to be denied his pro scouts. Yeah, now this, by Valdemar, was seen, but in fairness, like, your opponent's already feudal age, you can't do anything. I think this is, like, the weird thing. You have at least forced your opponent out into the mid-map, but it's French. Right, like, if this was another civ that wasn't heavy cav focused, I do wonder, like, okay, maybe you can pressure him with a few horsemen. Do you want to be opening horsemen here as Valdemar? I mean, he's got the stables. But the timing probably won't feel right. If anything, he's likely to need more Limitane, because all of a sudden there's going to be knights. And yeah, you can see he's holding the trigger on the horseman. So the goal here for Valdemar, by the way, was going to be Limitane, Lombo, horseman, I think. Is there a world where you go Keshix? Yes, one in which you like seeing defeat pop up on your screen. Keshix is hard to justify here. So, why would you Keshix against French? You might Keshix if you want to do a fast castle build, but then what's the value against French specifically? Because when you fast castle, quite often the play is either men-at-arms or relics or both. Well, both of those plays, there is not really many worse civs to do it against than French. Because if you fast tech and go relics, they have knights to guard them. And if you fast tech and go Varangian, they have got knights to kill them. So you kind of lose either form there, right? And outside that, like, Keshix for long feudal feels weird. In particular against French knights. You know, it's the same logic as why it can feel a little bit odd to try and do Lombo Mass against English. There are timings you can work around, but they're very specific. Because as the time goes on, your opponent just outplobs you. I think the more obvious one can quite often be like javelin timings against Malians. Like if a Malian player wants to, he'll always outgun you on jav count. We're going to go rotate around. We'll discover the outpost is there. Valdemar also getting chased away. Reminder, this was Pro Scout, so SortOf is getting a lot of safe, condensed food underneath his TC. There's no risk to his economy. Valdemar, when are we getting systems? There we go. I was about to say, like, this is feeling pretty weak economically. What's interesting is, like, early on, I quite like French for the scaling eco in the early feudal age. But as the game goes on, there's a lot of cool efficiency around Byzantines. Yes, the French TC produces quicker. The trade-off is going to be the system buff. And ever since they buffed systems to be a fixed 125 stone cost, I think the mid-late game isn't expensively annoying for Byzantines like it used to be. You're able to quite easily expand across the map with these systems. Nice worker kill from SortOf. Looks like he caught him building up the wall. Does get away with the knight as well. Outplay's coming in, but it's a fortified outpost. I would be surprised if you're able to break this. I think for SortOf, the issue now is he wants to scale more knights, and 5 on gold is not going to be good enough. And because there's horsemen, he can't risk more out on this gold unless he builds an outpost. But this is just a little bit weird, man. I mean, I don't know if SortOf wants to lose archers intentionally here, because that does let the spearmen try and clear the knights. Target fire is now coming in. You could actually just kill scouts to be more efficient about this. But like, reminder, this has 5 fire armor, which means you are having almost half your damage mitigated. Right? Reminder that fuel units do 13 torch. You fast tech with cataphracts and longbow mass. In some ways, those two contradict each other in what they want to do. Also, the scary thing about mass cataphracting against mass knights is like, you know, there's potential for French to go arbitrary, which are really good against cataphracts and longbows due to the beast scams. I'm still getting a villager pull now. And SortOf's trying to pull workers away, but it's going to cost him a pretty penny. Like, this is pretty ridiculous, actually. What? Oh my god. Valdemar just being given freebies. He does step up with the army, which is going to force SortOf to dive deeper. He's still not killed this outpost. Well, Torchbearer's going to turn around now. But if you just target these knights, like, this is a jackpot. There's 3 of them almost dead. He could actually get all 3 of them. Like, this is ridiculous value right now for Valdemar. This might be the highest value Byzantine outpost rush we've seen in KPMM. It's pretty crazy. Pretty rare as well for the Civ, but now the horsemen spring out onto the archers. The outpost is still alive. It's finally going to go down. But at what cost? And he lost so much trying to defend this. Valdemar needs to be careful because now the longbows are probably going to be sacrificed. But the worker kill count's pretty good because behind this, I think we have had systems coming in. Not that many, actually. No, Valdemar, I don't think he was greedy enough about this. No, he stopped gathering on the mining camp. So there's no extra stone coming in. It's just level 2. Crazy start to this game. I'll tell you what, these two, I think, are going to deliver an interesting series based on what we've been seeing so far. Yeah, like, I'm thinking about how this will likely play out now. Neither player has, like, an overwhelming military lead. And we're approaching the 50 eco mark, where Castle Age just feels quite inevitable. SortOf's likely going to just keep scaling knights again. Just makes sense here. He's still playing into the pro scouts. And also, Valdemar never shoved his deer in. Like, there is a risk for Voldy that SortOf isn't urgently rushed here, because he just has so much food on the map that he can bring home. Chivalry's going to be teched into, so SortOf definitely wants to turn this into a longer feudal skirmishy type engagement point. Valdemar is being ambitious with this longbow timing. That is, after the fight you just took, very risky. Probably felt like he burnt enough of SortOf's archers. But you're always taking kind of a punt, a risk when you're diving in towards the enemy. And ironically, it may now be SortOf's turn to leverage an outpost defense. Not just that. A backstab opportunity here. Torches are out. Lombos probably would actually be the ideal target, but I think maybe he just wants to open the way for the military to win the fight instead of the defense. Horsemen are going to be a bit slow, though, so Valdemar. Lombos can start picking. He's going to just commit onto them. He doesn't even care about the armies. The Lombos will get sacrificed. But almost all villages here going down. In fact, all will be sacrificed in response. Valdemar now with a worker lead. The crazy thing is he's once again just tossing away the entire army. Now, the scary thing is, like, this means your Lombo mass is never reaching critical scare point. But he is crippling SortOf's economy, right? The idle time, the military being forced to react, the eco lead that now exists for Voldy. The timing may have been ambitious, though. Look on the mini-map and notice what may be wrong for Valdemar here. He's taking risks on the flanks. This is not a guy who's, like, staying safe at home right now. He just lost a fight, and now he's going wide. Now he's getting outpost up because Valdemar's like, hey, these outpost things are pretty good. I wonder if it's going to be good enough here, though. You need 4 knights, 5 horsemen. That's a lot of burn power. You probably have to sneak some heals, and in fairness, SortOf doesn't have many archers. And like at this stage, you don't have that many farms. Valdemar is trying to fix that now. He's up to 9. So getting a little bit better. But in fairness, like we're 40 minutes in, right? It's very rare that you have 25, 30 groves at this stage. SortOf usually looks better than this. I don't think that's the problem. I think Valdemar's playing very well. Valdemar, like, usually I think that the thing I've heard highlight recently about him is, like, he plays early aggression quite well, but then it's like a case of sometimes it's to a fault, where it almost, like, throws away a lead, right? And then he plays for that more safe, condensed playstyle. So we've seen him play very well in the aggression. We've seen the potential, like, throwaway, where obviously he got 5 worker kills, and you got to question whether it's worth it. But right now, it looks like he's defensively okay. His Lombo mass is back up to 10. The Limitane count is scary enough that SortOf can't dive. And he's even got emplacements coming in on the flanks to make these locations harder to attack. Like, overall, I think Valdemar exceeded expectations here with this transition. And he needed it as well. It's not like he can be out on the flanks for much longer, considering the bloat that SortOf is going to achieve with mass knights. It's me, a said knight. He's going to be able to force all those workers home. I wonder if it would have been more worth it to actually wait for the rest of your military, though. I mean, SortOf maybe doesn't know just how big his army account is by comparison, but had he actually just, like, instead waited for the rest of the army to arrive, that's likely going to be a cut down of 10 plus workers. Instead, it's going to be chisel up towards castle. Knight will be able to be a nuisance here. Valdemar's probably going to want to pull out the shivs, as his army is currently distracted. Instead, he'll choose to pull away. I mean, this knight right now is like King Louis. He's going to get surrounded, though. Oh, just about pulls away in time there. One Limitane dressed up concern, but the rest of the army is now on the way. Now, SortOf knows he needs to punish this. It's a long time to be idled out, not taking up. Valdemar now committing 24 workers to the age up. And also, he built it on the edge of the base where he doesn't have choke points available. He's once again going to have to walk away. And he cancels it. Oh, no. Valdemar, wait. He got hit there. Oh, no, sorry. He reinvested. That's why. Okay. Spearman Horseman on the way. So he spends the food. He now has 1,300 gold just sitting there wasted. This is ridiculous. Valdemar is floating 2,500 resources in this game. Uncommitted to an age up while being in feudal age. Spearman Horseman going to dive in. Lombos have to contest on the north side. Shivs out from the villages to grab the knight as the dive does come in. They found their kills on the worker force there. Now it's a return to the main engagement. Knight count is still looking decent. Limitane are trickling out to just try and draw fire so the Lombos can be the MVP. But the archers from the French are countering this way too far. SortOf continues to push it. More knights are on their way, so Valdemar needs an answer fast here. More workers being sacrificed as well, as the eco lead is now over 10. Valdemar has got an absurd amount of idle economy. And he has no signs of taking up. What just happened? That one knight that should have been just a mere nuisance may have just locked the game in for the Swede. That is crazy. It looks like Valdemar is now going to be able to stabilize. I think the knight count is just too low, but SortOf has to be so happy with this. It's only level 2 Cistern, and you now got a 13 villager lead. This is crazily good. Options are on the table. He's going to go for the tech up. Likely looking at Guildhall here. Reminder, he also does have all this deer on the flanks to snatch back. Valdemar has not really done anything to truly deny the French Pro Scouts win condition. He delayed it in terms of the tech timing, but also in terms of the deer grabs due to the aggro. But the problem with this delay is it's kind of like ignoring the symptoms of an illness. You know, like, oh, it's not that bad right now. It'll be fine. Or like, oh, let's say you got like severe migraines. I'll just take a painkiller instead of going to the doctors and figuring out what the real issue is. That's the Pro Scout interaction here. Like, you may have delayed the problem, but it's still going to be one. You know, like not paying your debt on your bills. You know, like if you take a credit card out and you don't pay it back, it'll eventually come to bite you in the ass. And I think that's what we're seeing here now. A point where Valdemar's food income is not that good, really. He got stunted on his timing. Like if he wasn't harassed the way he was in the last 3 minutes, he'd probably be at 25 olive grows already, which is competitive. He's at 12, and the berries are about to run out. And the knights are still cycling around the base. No, SortOf. Also onto the stone. Okay, so it's going to be Guildhall. And I guess he's going to go for the keep drop strategy, where you can just get discounts. He has left room as well. Smart play. Just makes your base undiveable and lets you focus on attacking your opponent instead. After all that hoo-ha, I can't believe it. Valdemar is going to be second to Castle Age. 2 TC? I don't think you rush 2 TC. You probably try to sneak relics. Usually sneaking relics against knights is pretty bad. But because you already have a monastery via the Grand Winery, it's probably worth the punt to try and secure some extra olive oil. This is where the Lombo contract choice can feel bad, though. Your opponent's going mass knights still. And you didn't go jabs, which means no access to camels at the stage. It's just more Lombos. But defensively, that could be an upside. You know, Lombos are, of all the unit variety you have from the Merc House, probably the best defensive unit in the game. You can pick off Expos. Yeah, not as well as you'd think, though. Also, you need to give your opponent a reason to truly go arbitrary. I don't feel like SortOf does. I mean, it's weird that he's actually producing them right now. You can argue they're like great units, but like right now, Valdemar actually hasn't built a unit that requires you to use arbitrary. You can make Caddis? I mean, yeah, like, this is like me saying you can make trebuchets, or you can make, 15 TCs. Like, you can do many things in life, right? You can do, like, a cartwheel across a highway. It's not, like, advised, though, right? You have to? On 600 food income, I feel like that would kill you. If you get the deer or something, sure, but, like, the food income is way too low to do Caddis. Right, that's like saying I could buy, like, a Ferrari. You know, if I, like, maxed out all my credit cards, or went and got credit cards and then maxed them out, I probably, like, could buy, like, a low-end Ferrari pre-owned. But it's not a good idea. I'd say with Valdemar's current comp, trying to edge towards 2TC and hunker down probably makes more sense. It doesn't feel great, but, like, cataphracts are insanely expensive on food. If you want to build one cataphract, look at that. It's going to be a third of his food income per minute. Sounds like a good idea. I'd be the coolest caster in town. I mean, that's not very hard considering I'm pretty sure I'm the only caster in my town. Oh, dear. Oh, wait. Did I put... Oh, sorry. It's Dry Arabia, by the way, not Dry River. I just realized I forgot there was another dry. Let me fix that typo. Also, that is just hilarious. Like, this map looks nice. But it's not dry Arabia. Oh. This is that classic if you just like reskin something, repackage it, it's the same thing. Like, wow, it's totally different. You ever seen those like bait and switches where they're like, yeah, try this new energy drink. Oh man, that's like so much better than Red Bull. That's literally Red Bull. We just put it in a different can. You know, like when you get those AMD haters because they've been like too Intelized all over the years, and you just like repackage a Ryzen CPU, a 9800X3D, into like Intel packaging, and they go, "Whoa, man! Like the latest Intel is like the best one I've ever seen, man!" And then you go, "So I got a little bit of info for you. That was actually a Ryzen 9800X3D." Like, what? That always reminds me of my partner's brother, where he likes his drink a bit too much. She says not alcoholic. I say okay, but basically, they gave him a beer, and he's like, oh yeah, that's really good. Oh yeah, And her other brother went, that's a 0 alcohol beer, and he just spat it out. It's like, oh, what the hell? So we have got 2 TC now coming in from Valdemar. Farm count is starting to look good. Like, this game is definitely not over yet, but there is a growing concern. It's 2 TC from SortOf. He's already ahead. He's going to stay further ahead now because his TC's produced quicker. Guildhall is only 700 food so far, but he's got enough stone to go for additional castle drops. And he's also adding in more farms himself. Yeah, the problem is, like, SortOf's just fully exploiting the fact he's been given the map, not for free, but he's earned it now. Like, Valdemar can't contest it. So he's going to look to tap it to the extreme. Like a castle drop would make a lot of sense on the 8k vein on the south side and the north side. Yeah, he can do both. He's gathering stone. I think the play here for SortOf is lock in both of these outskirt sacred sites with a keep drop to secure the gold as well, and then hunker down the center, and then make Valdemar come out to you. It's a really good strategy. Oh, right. You mean you like SortOf's position? For a second, I thought you were saying you like Valdemar's position. I was like, so you must really like the position being when you're on all fours and someone has a belt and they're spanking. Because Valdemar is very much bent over the barrel right now. Yeah, he's at least scaling his economy with the system, so it makes him a bit competitive. Remember, at this stage, you got to add in like an extra 20% eco, which is going to be like another 12, 14 workers. The Guildhall is always the inevitable factor that makes games that feel like they should maybe be close be anything but. He's halfway to the food he'd require to go into Imperial. He's already prepping for the inevitability of it. Gambeson's is on the way. We do also have siege engineering, which is a little bit surprising by SortOf. Just probably showing the necessary respect. But Byzantines, the funky thing about this civ is Byzantines can function on little map control better than practically any other civ in the game because of the olive oil. Wow, after that Intel AMD comparison, a perfect time for that link to pop up for you guys to click. Oh, man. I do like it. I love AMD, man. Like, I've heard rumors there's a new CPU maybe on the way. There's nothing confirmed yet. If there is, I'm going to ask my contact about getting hands on. We've already got the 9950X, which is a sick CPU. Yeah, for most gamers, 9800X3D is peak. I'm a hard-working sob. It's true. I was like, so the wedding I went to on Saturday, I was having a discussion with a guy who was a former freelance, like, engineer. And he was nodding his head when I was saying things like, I can never take a holiday. I can't. Because I don't know when I'm going to be working. I could not be working for 4 months, or I could be working tomorrow. It's a really weird lifestyle. Although, actually, it's kind of like maybe in some ways more toxic being a full-time creator now with that freelance stuff. Because now I definitely can't risk a holiday. I mean, what would happen if I disappeared for 2 weeks? You guys would find a discount killer pigeon to watch. Then what? Then I'd have to, like, I don't know, start doing implied nudity on stream, shots every time someone subs. Anything to win you all back. All right, castle drop south side. North side secure. That means red path to the center. Inevitability. He has 4,000 gold. Seems like an overgather, but we've seen players like Dumu do similar things where they gather a lot of gold when they're prepping for Imperial Age, so that when they get there, they can just buy everything. Right? They turn into Bruce Wayne on a spending spree. Like, oh, I'm just going to buy this club. And then beat you over the head with a red pass now coming in. No, I used to get called a discount version of a caster who turned out to be an absolute bellend. So I'm glad I don't get that comparison anymore. He's gone. His ass got turfed out. He ain't coming back, never. And rightly so. He don't deserve to come back from what he did. Knights are going to try to sally in, but Valdemar has activated. Problem is, SortOf is now an entire age ahead, and Valdemar's economy is not well positioned to immediately catch up. He needs some punishment first. 102 military to 62 means he has got momentum. He needs to know where to swing it, and this is what's so elegant about what SortOf done here. With the castles on the north-south side, Red Pass Center, there's no easy dive point. There's even a castle at home, remember? Like, there's nothing you want to dive here with your army that will feel good. There is nothing you want to dive with your... Valdemar, no. Run, you fool! What are we doing? Oh my god, he wasn't looking. So that's 10 military just lost for nothing. Which I think that was definitely more than 10. Good god. And I guess he just has to pull the trigger. Yeah, so pulls all the way back. Gets no value for his bigger military force. Just has to go Imperial. Imagine being a French knight, mind your own business, in the Byzantine base and getting hit by rocks. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. This is like the guy who shows up with shotgun and goes, I don't understand why they thought I was looking for a fight. Bruh, you're a French knight showing up in these innocent Greek workers' groves, fully armor clad, beefed up, and you're trying to tell me you weren't there to cause trouble. That's like copping a squat on the front of someone's car and taking a giant turd and going, bro, I don't know where like the aggro came from. I was just like, you looking to use one of those public toilets. You know what you were doing. Like, SortOf knows exactly what he's doing. Full line of elite techs on the way. He's even prepping for a horseman switch. Makes sense. Valdemar has a hell of a lot of longbows and also has diversified into crossbows. Now, in terms of age-up choices, we did see him teching up with the Foreign Engineering Company, which is the correct call. He now has the volley ability. He also will get March Drills and Landsknecht, but the most important thing is you will get the best siege weapon in the game. The one that, ironically, French could build, but never do. The Royal Cannons. Oh, yeah. Chat talking about, yeah. The Royal Cannons, like, honestly, Royal Cannons are the best siege weapon in the game for dealing with siege. I think they are the best well-rounded siege weapon in the game. They deal with siege very well. They can deal with infantry very well. Their only weakness is like sniping cavalry, right? But for French, the thing is with Red Palace, it allows you to get away with your greed so much more organically, so much more easily. That it just always feels justified. If Red Palace only buffed Red Palace, I think you'd see a lot more of the artillery. But because it doesn't, because College of Artillery is like, although Red Palace in itself is a decent landmark, the thing that puts it over the edge is it buffs all your keeps and all your TCs. Like, maybe if it didn't buff TCs, you might have an interesting choice between the two. Even then, though, I still think you'd go castle all the time over the College of Artillery. This game has slowed down a lot. I mean, Valdemar can't really afford many mistakes here with the dive out. And he's running out of gold fast now. Yeah, down to 1,000 left. Tricky. Has he got the uni set up? He has. He has not got Incendiary. He has not got Elite Army Tactics. And he's got basically nothing. Not even Chemistry. Yeah, this is pretty weak from Valdemar. Hand Cannoniers? In this economy? No, that's crazy. I mean, he has nothing to justify this long term. And his opponent is prepping Horsemen, by the way. So Streltsy plus hand cannoneers. Like, Valdemar has just, in an awkwardly uncomfortable position, chosen to go for the most greedy and ambitiously powerful comp he can. But we've seen time and time again, like, hand cannoneers on their own are not the kings you'd expect. They need help carrying those fights. And the Limitane count does not look good for it. On top of that, maybe too many Lombos. Like, right now, the issue for Valdemar, I think, is too much ranged. So his strategy seems to be relying on the idea that all these siege emplacements on the outposts are going to save him from dives. Bold idea. Works right now, but something's coming that's going to worry me about that strategy. Royal Bloodlines is just 50 seconds out. And that's when these static emplacements become less annoying for the Knights. On top of that, remember, we're talking about a situation where Valdemar has to brute force his way in. So these outpost defenses are great when you're in your base. But that Sacred Site timer is looming. We're 6 minutes away from a victory for SortOf. Knights are nearby. Castle, be given up on. Still with the backup one over here, though. The double royal cannon is going to be there. Starting to open fire. Army's going to be marching over. They're coming in with the backstab. Knights are on the way. The Limitane do get peeled far to the south. That means the Lombos are now exposed. And the reinforcements have arrived for SortOf. And Cannoneer and Limitane have to stand their ground. Archers are starting to reach in now. Incendiary arrows is there. No silk bowstrings, but doesn't need it. Knights dive in. They find the cannons. Final one left alive is going to go down. Army's going to get wiped. And Valdemar, this was probably his best opportunity to get out. And it was worth nothing. Yeah, this is now dire territory. Valdemar, whatever hand cannon he's got left queued is all he's got left. He's got no gold income, no access on the map. SortOf has fully starved him out in this game. I mean, we talked about how Byzantines are probably the best civ at camping in a corner with nothing but farms to access due to their ability to build mercs. But that has limitations still on its own. I think we're seeing those limitations. SortOf now just making it more about the horsemen than the knights. Range format is about to get even more scary. Silk bowstrings just kicked in. Which means no trade with the hand cannon is into this. It also means that your Lombos almost have the same range as normal archers. We have got Valdemar in full form. You're seeing what he's doing here. Just trying to negotiate territory, but there will be no negotiations. No parley. And why would SortOf ever feel the need to? Just in a very dominant position here. He is circling like a shark. Small groups just lingering. Outpost getting set up. I like this from SortOf. He knows that his opponent must be running out of resources. This is the other thing about systems. Very good because they buff your economy, but very bad from the logic that you get through your safe resources quicker. It's not like China who inflate what exists by 20%. With this civ, you're just eating through everything that's limited 26% faster. Fooding to trade for a bit of gold? Oh, you'd think so until you realize how bad the rates probably are at this stage. So, there you go. You can sell 100 food for 68 gold. It really doesn't get you as far as you think. The other problem right now is also, you know, it's always easy to say just sell loads of it, but if other things are happening that distract you, then like that is APM away from addressing concerns to hold a button down to sell resources. And yes, you can trade oil, but the problem with trading oil here is like you're struggling to have a lot of units to look scary. So do you really want to be selling oil to get these alternate units that could take longer to arrive? Like, I think Valdemar now could maybe justify it because it's max pop again, but before you can't. And on top of that, like, I don't think you ever look at hand cannoneers compared to raw cannons and say hand cannoneers are better than the raw cannon. Another castle drop. Yeah, he's just fully leaning south because you can see what's happening. Like, Valdemar's kind of revealed his hand. He's producing more to the south side. He's also trying to wall in for the tree line here. So it's kind of interesting that Valdemar didn't diversify his attack points. And the thing is, SortOf knows he can't attack center. Like, it was even north or south. And this is what makes this strategy so frustrating from French. Is like, when you do this, it cuts the map. If this Red Palace was on the flank instead, Valdemar could lean between center and south. Instead, this is basically the only option. You might be wondering, like, why does Valdemar not do creepy pals and then take out the Red Palace? Problem is, once again, you're up against mass horsemen. Time is not on your side as well. That's a slow siege, and Red Palace can be repaired with wood. It's just like bad upon bad upon bad. Not bad. Maybe about to get worse here. Archers standing their ground. Knights, horsemen, they're in on the farms. So Valdemar's olive oil income is about to get shuttered. His army isn't even winning this fight. Yeah, this should have been the one that looked a little bit feasible. Instead, SortOf is losing everywhere. Oh, sorry, Valdemar's losing everywhere. SortOf is winning. Up and down the map. And it sort of looks like a rout. Yeah, and he's carving his way through these groves. I mean, this is in some ways overkill. Valdemar actually has way too much resource and no way of getting out quick enough. So it's a cute detail from SortOf. I guess it's a backup plan in case the Sacred Site does get decapped, but it's not seeming like a realistic target for Valdemar anymore. These archers have just annihilated so much. Ah, and there you go. There's part of the problem. Valdemar doesn't have level 3 ranged armor. We already knew he didn't have elite army tactics. I mean, what you're seeing here, guys, is the drastic difference that university techs make. SortOf is like age 5 while you're age 4. There's nothing. Like, there's no incendiary. There's no elite army tactics. Like, we check on Valdemar's tech situation. He still hasn't got a single thing of worth out of the university. I do like this change they made, by the way, with university techs. Like, making them so much more expensive was clearly targeted at you needing to be present and justify your Imperial by getting something, getting gold in particular. And it shows in this game. And yeah, Valdemar, this is depressing. It's building feudal horses. Let that be a lesson, folks. Imp techs truly do change the game. In a way that, like, sometimes I think wasn't apparent in early day AoE4. Because everyone always got them. They were so cheap. I know, like, at first, some people didn't like that change, but I, for one, welcome our expensive university taxes. I mean, if I have to pay £36,000 to get my university degree, it's only reasonable you guys should be paying 1,500 imaginary resources.